Oona Kelly Webster put the finishing touches on the Thanksgiving table with a critical eye and made sure it looked as perfect as she wanted it, and her family expected it to be. Everything in Oona's life was orderly and impeccably planned well in advance. She didn't like surprises and tried to anticipate problems so that they would never happen. She'd had an impressive career in publishing at Hargrove Publishers, a small but highly respected house that existed under the umbrella of a larger publishing conglomerate. She had worked at the same company since she'd graduated from Princeton and had taken classes from some of the greatest contemporary writers of our time. From junior editor, over time she had risen to being the head of the small but most lofty literary imprint, publishing exceptionally fine authors. The house was prestigious, although its revenues did not compare to those that published commercial fiction. And as the publisher of her own imprint, Oona Kelly was a greatly respected, distinguished person in the literary world. She was very proud of the talented authors she had discovered, even if their sales figures were not as high as the blockbuster bestsellers of commercial fiction. Their work was for an elite readership who preferred obscure literary work of a more intellectual nature. Now almost 47, Oona had discovered and published many very fine writers, several of whom were famous. She nurtured and encouraged her authors with great care. Unlike the world of best-selling commercial fiction, hers was not a dog-eat-dog existence. It was one of dignity, finesse, and great literary minds. As head of the house, she had a protected and very secure situation with considerable prestige. She didn't abuse the power she had, but she enjoyed her position and all that it entailed. In spite of the highbrow literary nature of the books she published, Oona looked a decade younger than her age, and the older authors whom she published were surprised and delighted to meet a pretty young woman with big green eyes, a youthful face, and a warm smile, who understood and appreciated their work and had an excellent education and 25 years of experience. She was dedicated to the imprint she represented and to its authors, and defended their interests fiercely. She got them the best advances she could, given their somewhat limited sales. The owners of the publishing house were a brilliant, astute family who had owned it for 3 generations and grown their overall publishing, including nonfiction, some carefully selected fiction, and academic textbooks that were lucrative, into a massive multi-billion-dollar business. They valued Oona's contributions and the high-end, relatively small imprint she ran. It wasn't a big money-maker, but it gave them a great deal of prestige in the publishing world. And keeping it small gave Oona the opportunity to run it impeccably, with full control of every detail, which was how she ran her personal life and home as well. She had married Charles Webster 6 months after graduating from Princeton, and she was already working at Hargrove Publishing then. Charles was 12 years older and 34 at the time. He was already a successful account executive in advertising and enjoyed it thoroughly. They had met at a party in New York where they both lived and had grown up, and it was a whirlwind romance, which turned into a solid marriage with their 2 children, Megan and Will, who were 22 and 24 now.